I think that when I look back and I see how far along Microsoft has come over the years, especially with the Xbox Series X compared to the Xbox One era, you can just see that there is a huge, huge difference in what they've been able to accomplish and what they're doing as compared to that era and that particular time. It's still strange to me because a lot of people still will bring up some of the things that happened years ago, which I think is a little bit weird because at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, that was years ago and we're in a totally different type of situation. And that's, I think, the thing that people don't really understand when it comes to this kind of stuff. And I wanted to get into it because this announcement I thought was very interesting. And I thought it's one that probably a lot of PlayStation fans refuse to believe. One of the reasons why I think so is because things have been status quo in the console gaming market for a long time, but we can see a lot of changes coming about very, very quickly, and Microsoft has been ahead of the game for a little while now. So I think this is going to be a very interesting video, and I'm sure you guys will probably agree. Hey everybody, I'm Crap Gamer, and of course this is Crap Gamer Reviews, your home for gaming news, opinions, reviews, and much more. You'll probably notice a few changes around here, but that shouldn't stop you from leaving us a like, and possibly even consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. Thank you so much for choosing to spend some of your free time with me today. It really means a lot to me, and if you guys are watching my videos, please leave a like. That's pretty much all I ask. It helps the videos to be seen, and it helps the channel to grow. So thank you guys very much for your support. It means everything. So according to this, the Xbox is expected to gain console software market share over PlayStation and Nintendo by 2026, so within the next 4 years. Today, console gaming market analyst firm DFC Intelligence released an updated forecast on the video game console market that shows Microsoft's Xbox platform gaining ground over the next 4 years on both PlayStation and the Nintendo ecosystem. There is a slide and everything, and I'm going to be able to link this article so you guys can check it out. But as you can see, they estimated that Sony leading the console software market share with 43% of total revenue, a combination of packaged and online sales, while Nintendo follows close by with a 37%. Microsoft's Xbox lagged far behind at 20% right now. However, the new forecast for 2026 shows that Microsoft Xbox gaining 7% of the market share, while Sony's PlayStation will lose 4% and Nintendo's 3% compared to 2021. The forecast is partly due to the next generation Nintendo console, which DFC Intelligence believes to be planned for release by 2024. The console software market share will be even more split between the three companies as a result of that. And when it comes down to the total video game console market, including hardware, DFS Intelligence has halved its previous estimates due to the contained shortage supply issues. The updated forecast shows 4% growth year on year, with 2022 console revenue coming in at roughly $49 billion. The breakdown actually shows slightly declining hardware revenue and equal packaged software revenue through online revenue is expected to grow at nearly $21 billion. This is very interesting news for Microsoft because Microsoft continues to grow and they continue to grow their part of the software market, which people don't really see as them doing due to Game Pass. A lot of people assume that nobody buys games, which isn't actually accurate. People do still buy games and games can still sell well. It's just that Game Pass is sort of a different method for Microsoft to make their money, and they're going to continue to support things that way. So for me, I think it's going to be very interesting to see how that kind of works out long term and how we're going to be able to see things kind of change over the course of the next few years. But it does very much say how things are going to kind of work out for everybody in the general kind of way that they tend on doing these things. Like Microsoft sort of changed the game, and I think people are really kind of surprised by this. But the analyst firms highlights that Sony's PlayStation 5 is the biggest loser in the situation, as the console remains in high demand, but its supply will continue to be very limited through the fiscal year and ending March 23. Sony admitted this last month when it revised its own full-year forecast downward to 11.5 million units. DFC Intelligence surveys show that PS5 would still be a preferred console, but that might change as Microsoft's Xbox library grows thanks to the many acquired game studios. Meanwhile, the analysts reckon that the PC platform is gaining steam amidst the console shortages, with a large portion of Elden Ring sales coming from PC gamers. But again, I think that it really kind of is interesting because Xbox is doing well because one of the reasons is that Sony is actually kind of stuck in this weird situation where, you know, they're they can't supply to meet the demand, and that's going to be a continued problem, they're saying, into 2023 and maybe beyond that, which I thought was very interesting because, you know, as Microsoft and Sony continue to invest heavily into the consoles and stuff like that, I think that we're going to continue to see this. And you might think, well, why? How would Microsoft be able to, you know, make some sort of comeback like that? One of the things was, you know, they're buying Activision, right? So the interesting part to that is, yes, we'll see Activision games go into Game Pass, but people forget that the biggest selling game is Call of Duty still, each and every year, pretty much. And basically, that's going to continue to be the case. Now, that game is on PlayStation as well, and it's going to be on Switch, but that's helping Microsoft tremendously because that's still an Xbox sale in when it comes to a game or whatever. So it's going to be funny to see how that kind of works out and how people kind of react to the way that these things are. What does it mean? I think that it really just means that we're getting more and more competition as things kind of go along, and that's an exciting prospect because, as I've always said, we don't want any of these console companies to go out of business or to not be in business, because at the end of the day, you know, we're all gamers that are just trying to kind of get along here. And that's exactly kind of what it all comes down to, you know, as far as I can tell, is, you know, we want Microsoft and Sony to both do great things, and if they're not doing great things, then that doesn't do well for us. Like, if they're both like competing with each other and coming out with reasons why, you know, they should be doing something versus the other, I think that that makes a totally different type of situation and scenario, and that's something that, you know, gamers will have to kind of come to understand. You know, it really behooves us to want Microsoft and Sony to have this kind of competition, and that's kind of where I'm at with this whole situation. Is it really does make sense for them to do this and offer fans the best of both worlds. You know, I think that, you know, as someone who is a Game Pass subscriber, I'm a PlayStation Plus subscriber, you know, I like having my options and things like that, and it seems like we're going to continue to have a lot of these options and things, and that's going to be the critical role kind of going forward. And, you know, I think that that's going to be something that we continue to see as Microsoft continues to grow in the future, and they're going to continue to do good things. Is that going to be, you know, is that going to be a bad thing for Sony and Nintendo? No, I think we're going to have a more even market in the long run, and I think that's where we're going to see the most issues from people. They're going to have a hard time believing and understanding that Microsoft has really done such a good job at kind of, I guess, I don't want to say predicting the future, but, you know, you might as well say that, you know, kind of predicting the future the way that they have. You know, they've kind of done a good job of going out there and getting these things to happen, and forecasting how this is going to happen. And, you know, these companies, you know, especially a $1 trillion company, it makes sense that they're able to go out and do that and kind of predict the market. So with that being said, let me know what you guys think. Sound off, rate, comment, subscribe, rack 'em up, fact 'em up, Crap Gamer 'em up. Thank you so much for watching. Crap Gamer out.